everybody to the first episode of the Booze Fueled Webcast, a YouTube channel dedicated to discussing our favorite bands and why we like them.
Correct. I'm Bernie.
I'm Chris.
And we spent the last 10 years or so developing a system to rate every single song on every single album of all the bands that we love. And you don't need to know the magic behind the curtains.
Magic.
But what we ended up with was the best albums from every single band, and we're going to call those the essential albums, the ones you need if you're ever going to get into these bands.
And these, we're not just talking about power metal here, we're talking about progressive metal, we're talking about classic rock, grunge, alternative. We're going to do all of this because for the last 10 years, as Bernie said, we've already been doing it. So now we're going to share what we did with you, and hopefully you enjoy this as much as we have done, as much as we've enjoyed doing it thus far.
Yeah, we've had a ton of fun over years going through all these bands that we like, that we love, that we hate. We do it all, and it's time. It's time to share it.
Yes, and in case you didn't notice, we are going to be drinking alcoholic beverages during this entire thing.
Entire time.
Because there's no reason not to enjoy ourselves. We've done this over the years with beer, and we're going to continue doing it with beer on this channel.
Correct.
So tonight, for this first episode, we've decided to do one of the greatest power metal bands, if not the very first power metal band.
I think they are the first power metal.
Or at least the first traditionally recognized power metal band. These guys right here. Helloween. We're going to give you our essential albums right now.
Okay.
Number 7 on the list is Pink Bubbles Go Ape. And we know that a lot of the metal fans out there who've heard Helloween before are going to find this one a little bit tricky. But as I dig into the pumpkin...
I wouldn't be surprised if most of you haven't even heard of this album.
It exists.
It
we
does.
actually own it on CD.
What year did that come out?
1991.
1991.
I was 11 years old.
I was not.
You were like 38 years old.
Also not 38.
But Pink Bubbles Go Ape, this album came out after several years of the band really not existing in any form whatsoever. They lost their American record label, they weren't touring, and they had to prove themselves after a successful Keepers albums.
Yes.
And they... Hey, let me show it again.
And they brought this.
They came out with Pink Bubbles Go Ape.
This is what they brought.
Now, why is this number 7?
This is number 7 because it is actually a pretty good album. It's not gonna. It doesn't go any higher than 7 because it's not great.
True.
But it is very good. There are some great songs on this album. There are a couple songs that are kind of throwaways.
It's at the base of it, though, it's still a power metal album.
And it's still Helloween, too.
True.
If you're already familiar with the band a little bit, you know who their singer is. This is the original singer.
The god, Michael Kiske. We should
Yes.
have, like, clouds floating over us right now. Michael Kiske!
I see rainbows.
Or rainbow. No, not rainbows.
No,
Rainbows are weird.
yeah.
That's Chameleon. We'll get to that
Oh.
later. We'll get to that later.
Much later.
But yes,
Maybe never.
It's still a power metal album. They have some fun with certain songs. There's some goofy stuff. There's some lighthearted stuff. But like some of Roland Grappau's first songs on here, like The Chance.
Yeah.
You know,
and he turned out to be an excellent songwriter and a fantastic guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a benefit to this band. We'll go into more of who he replaced a little bit later.
Yes.
The great Kai Hansen.
But the story behind this album, I think for me, and I know definitely for you,
have stories, both of us,
is that because it wasn't available in America for so long, when I got into this band, I knew there were other albums that existed with Michael Kiske stuff that I needed to hear because I love Michael Kiske. His voice is kind of the voice of power metal for me.
Absolutely.
And so I had to find these other albums. And back then, kids, before the internet, before you could just press a button and have an album delivered to you from Amazon, you had to find a magazine, a Hit Parader or a Gold Mine or something that sold import CDs.
Right.
Because that was the only way you were getting your hands on this.
And some places actually had physical places you can go to order these
Yes,
things.
true.
Which also order from a catalog. They just they were the middleman.
Mm-hmm.
But this album kind of predates even the internet, really.
Yeah, oh, absolutely it does.
I learned about this album through something called the Usenet groups. You're gonna have to go back a ways to figure this out. But yeah, there was not web browsers at this time. You couldn't.
True.
It was just being developed at this time, honestly.
Yeah.
But people could connect to each other and talk to each other, kind of like the internet works now.
Mm-hmm.
Through these Usenet groups, and there was a site dedicated to Helloween. And being a fan of Helloween for as long as I was, going back into the 80s, I found out that this album existed, and I had to have it. It's one of my favorite bands. Even when I thought they were dead and gone, and there was no more Helloween, I found out this album existed, and I had to have it. And I found out through the internet. And how can I get this? And it turned out that there were some places you can order things from.
Yes.
As Chris mentioned.
Yeah, but you couldn't order them for a $7 download. You paid for these CDs because CDs were still a thing. Like, CDs might not be a thing now. Back then, CD was the only thing. You still had your cassette tapes, obviously. You had the cassette tape.
Actually, when I got this album, I didn't even have a CD player. I had to go to my neighbor and take tapes with me and say, hey, look, do me a favor. I will let you copy this, because he was a big fan too. I will let you copy this for yourself is if you make me a copy on tape, because I had no other way to listen to it. And he did, and so now I had CD and tape, listened to the tape. CD sat until I got a CD player eventually a couple of years later.
He was on the pirate thing really early.
Yeah.
He knew how to pirate the album.
I'm gonna pirate this to my neighbor.
But I mean, I found it. I tracked it down. I paid $30.
I paid pretty much $30 as well.
And at first, I wasn't sure of it. I wasn't sure about it. It wasn't the album that I thought Helloween would be doing at the time. I wasn't ready for what this was. But the more I listened to it, it was exactly what it... Not what it could have been, but...
No, it's kind of what it needed to be.
Right. Just the change from the
At the
80s
time.
into the 90s. All the
Right.
power metal bands were changing their styles and changing how they did things. And Helloween was no different than any of those bands. It opens with that little acoustic, that 1 minute little acoustic thing with him. Oh, some people are much too smart. What the hell is that?
That's classic Helloween, actually, in hindsight.
And then Kids of the Century comes in, and that's fucking power metal all day long. That is a power metal track.
Yep. They didn't skip a beat on that one. It was for me, a little bit happier sounding than the previous albums.
It was.
But any less good? Nah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. And first rolling solos you get to hear. And, wow, he's amazing.
So I think that's really all we can say about this thing here.
Yeah, look.
The fish in her mouth.
For a second.
We don't know what that
For a
is.
second.
But, oh, wait, you want the CD here?
Oh, look at this. All right, this is classic Helloween right here too. Look at that guy there. He's got egg on his face, literally egg on his face.
It's really good.
2 sunny side up eggs.
It's good.
Like he's wearing them like a mask.
Yeah, that's classic.
So anybody who's a little bit familiar with Helloween knows that these guys got a sense of humor.
Yeah,
and it definitely comes out in this album.
Thanks, Helloween. And your first Helloween country song is on this album too, in case you were wondering. Your Turn is on
Oh,
here.
right, yeah. Yeah, well, it's
Great song.
It's good. No,
But it's Helloween country. It's not power metal.
for us, it rated very, very high.
It did.
It helped this thing get into the essential albums. Me, I like number 5 here, Heavy Metal Hamsters.
Oh, he's a fan.
Which at any point in the day, that song can run through my head, and I don't turn it off.
So, here you go. Our number 7 in the Essential Helloween albums was Pink Bubbles Go Ape from 1991. Check it out. There's a link below.
You need this album if you're ever gonna get into Helloween.
Number 6, Better Than Raw, 1998. Let me go into the magic
Here we go.
basket of
Now,
toys.
There we go. This album is phenomenal, really.
And one of the coolest covers
Yeah, check
probably
this out.
ever on a Halloween
See, this
album.
is 90s, and anybody who's familiar with the comic book thing knows that 90s was when that little thing took off, and everybody bought a ton of them, and they're all worthless now. But some of the greatest artists who worked in the comics industry were doing their thing in the 90s, and this is basically what they did. This is amazing. This is an amazing cover.
It's pretty sexy, I'm not gonna lie.
And
Is that weird? Is that weird that I like that?
No.
Is that weird?
No, that's fine. And there's pumpkins.
There's always pumpkins. Halloween loves their
Little
pumpkins.
guys all over the place here.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
So, 1998. I was still in high school in 1998.
I was not. We're going to have that on every single...
Yeah, we're just gonna keep showing how old he is and how young and exuberant I still am.
I think I was done with college by then.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Anyway,
Anyway,
but 1998.
Moving
Yes,
on.
I was graduating high school, and I had been into Halloween for a number of years at this point. But I was driving home from a friend's house one night, and on our local radio station, I don't remember which one it was,
97.9 probably.
the single from this album, the single came on the radio, along with like a Gamma Ray song and a Primal Fear song, and it was the coolest hour of drive time ever.
Yeah.
But I heard the new single from this album, and I said, I was gonna buy this album like the day it came out anyway, but I can solidify it. It had that cool like pop metal, kind of like I Want It Out. It had that same cool pop metal vibe.
Right.
That was cool for the kids listening to that same radio station,
It had a hook.
but cool for me because, oh shit, I've been into this band for years, you know?
And this is, for me, this one, this is really, really good stuff. This is Andy Darris singing on this one. This is the first one we're running into with their new singer.
Yes.
From, they moved on from Michael Kiske, and as we go on here, we're gonna let you know what we think of him. He's the greatest in the business. But Andy here is no slouch.
No.
And this is Roland is still on this one.
Yep.
Playing guitar.
Yep.
Anybody else new on this one?
No, I mean, this is still the not the Pink Bubbles lineup.
No.
But the early once the guard changed in Halloween, they got rid of Kiske and they got rid of Ingo. Put his real last name here because I have no idea how to pronounce it. Once they got rid of them guys and they got in Uli Kush to go along with Roland Grappow, they blew it out like immediately. The first album they did, Master of the Rings, which we'll talk about, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
They blew it out, and throughout the '90s, every album they progressed. They progressed a more cohesive unit,
Yep.
A better writing unit, and this was arguably the best album they had in the '90s with that lineup.
Yeah, this is really good stuff. I was already kind of hook, line, and sinker with them right after the switch from Kiske to Andy Darris. So right off the bat, Master of the Rings, which we're going to get into later. I got that basically the day it came out, and everything that followed that, the day it came out, I got it. And this one is it's a fantastic album. It's definitely essential. It's hard to rate it 6 because it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5. They all kind of fall into the same category here. Definitely got to check this out. They went back to amazing.
Yes.
Right here.
And if you want to hear a German power metal band singing Latin, that's also on this album.
Yeah, there you go.
Laudate.
Don't even.
Whatever.
I'm not gonna try it.
Have one of these guys.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to pronounce.
But yes, it's one of Helloween's heavier albums and also more melodic albums at the same time.
Right, it's catchy. There's catchy stuff on here. It's really melodic choruses. Their trademark, anybody who knows them at all, is the guitar harmonies, and it's all here. It's all here.
So there is
number 6.
Number 6. So 1998.
Listen to that one.
Better Than Raw. Get this one. Link also in the description below. You will not be disappointed by Better Than Raw.
Absolutely not.
Number 5 is Time of the Oath from 1996.
And this is another just fantastic album for
It is.
Helloween.
It's an excellent album.
It's Andy Darius again. And you can see by the art on this one, harkens back a little bit to their previous stuff.
That guy.
We're going to get around to these little rings right here. That
Oh, look at that. The Master of the Rings cover is in his head.
Wow. They didn't expect us to notice that.
I just learned that right now.
We are so dumb.
I just learned that right
That's
now.
right. We think we know what we're talking about, but apparently we shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. But Time of the Oath. It's Helloween was had a big resurgence, I think, in the 90s. I mean, not here. In America, nobody gave a fuck.
Except me and you.
Nobody, well, right. And a couple of our friends who talk to us every now and then.
Yeah.
Nobody cared about Helloween in the States at this point, but Helloween was reestablishing themselves as like a premier power metal band.
No pun intended. They were still a power.
Right. Oh.
Maybe pun intended.
That was good.
I did intend that.
That was good. But the album is heavy. It's a heavy album. They seem to get heavier throughout the 90s.
Yeah, but they retain their melodic nature.
Yes.
And the songwriting, the quality is just fantastic. The recording quality, also fantastic.
No.
This one.
I disagree with you on that. The recording, the production on this one is shitholes.
Really? See,
yes.
I disagree. We have one coming up that I would agree with.
This one to me sounds a little muddy. There's like the highs are completely missing. It's a lot of bass, it's a lot of mids. There are no highs. It doesn't sound pretty. It's not clean. It's a very muddy record. Which maybe they were going for that. I don't know.
I don't know either, but
it didn't hurt the overall effect of the album.
I think we're gonna have to leave it up to you to decide because we have a difference of opinion.
And you're also wrong. If you disagree with me.
You're not. You don't have to be wrong. You can be right.
I mean, they on this album. I didn't even consult the Magic.
Wow.
The Magic Pumpkin OCDs.
The pumpkin is gonna haunt us.
I mean,
Pumpkin
this
is mad.
If you could look at the back of it, which I'm looking at right now.
Pumpkin's on the back.
I mean, Kings Will Be Kings is on here.
Yeah.
That song is hardcore power metal. It's just like everything. I mean, the Time of the Oath itself. They did a lot of ballads on this album. I mean, well, not a lot, but two or three ballads in this album. Helloween kind of became a big ballad band.
Yeah, and that's something you have to pay attention to with them. The ballads, they did a great ballad.
Oh, absolutely.
This is kind of, once the Seven Keys era ended, this is kind of like their next golden age. These albums, basically everything that's in our top 3 to 6, is the new golden age of Helloween with Andy Darius singing and Roland playing guitar.
Yes.
And you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with any of this.
I mean, a little history on Andy Darius, I guess. We didn't really touch on Andy Darius yet.
You kind of have a little bit more history with Andy Darius than I do.
Andy Darius is in a band called Pink Cream 69.
Which I did not even know existed until I think you told me.
in, I guess, like the late 80s and maybe into the very early 90s. They started out as somewhat of a power metal thing and then became almost part of the grunge scene. Like, they really had a change. And the time was just right when they were getting rid of Michael Kiske. And I guess the members of Helloween were already friends with Andy Darris, or at least had known of Andy Darris at the time.
Perhaps conspiracy involved.
Perhaps. Regardless of the conspiracy, they brought Andy in from a Pink Cream band that just fucking exploded at one point. Andy knew he was going to be fired from Pink Cream, so he took the Helloween job. And I was not a huge fan of Andy Darris when I first heard him because he wasn't Michael Kiske. I was used to that classic Helloween sound.
Who is Michael Kiske, though? Who is?
Nobody is Michael Kiske. That's true. And we know, let's point this out right now. We know that we're not pronouncing Michael Kiske's name right.
Michael, if you're watching, it's his fault.
We're sorry, Michael, if we're mispronouncing your name.
We are definitely mispronouncing his name.
But you are still Michael Kiske to us.
Yeah, sorry. It's just, we're American. And it rolls off the American tongue a little better.
It does.
To say Kiske and not Kiska.
Yeah, like Williams.
Actual
Williams. Michael Williams Sean. Like something like that.
That's not his name.
It's close. It's close to his name.
It's a lot of people.
I'm pretty sure it's
not
close.
his name.
Anyway, where were we now? Time of the Oath.
He wasn't. Andy's not Kiske.
Andy's not
And
Kiske.
not what you expected.
It took me a while to appreciate Andy Darris. He has a raw vocal approach.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the range that Kiske has, but he does have a sick range.
Yeah, he does. He actually has a very good range. It gets raspy when he gets high.
Right.
He's not clean. Kiske a very clean singer from any range.
Right.
From low to high, he's 100% clean. And Andy here is not a clean singer. He gets very gravelly.
He does.
The higher he goes.
He does.
But to me, it always fits.
I mean, it works.
I'll get into my opinion of Andy Darris a little bit more when we get to Rings coming up a little bit later.
We're getting
So
there.
I'm going to let it go for right now, but yeah, I have no problem whatsoever with the vocals on this, the guitar playing, the production, any of it. This is a great album. It's another great album, The Golden Age.
It is. And Bernie's right. For once in Bernie's life.
And always,
He's right.
in my opinion, right? Say yes.
Wrong. Anyway, that was, what does that number say?
That is number 5.
Number 5 of this album, Time of the Oath, 1996.
Essential.
Also an essential Helloween album. Excellent all around. You can't go wrong. Check below for the link. Our number 4 album on the essential Helloween list is this one right here, Master of the Rings, 1994. The whole thing changed with this album.
This is the new beginning right here.
Absolutely.
This is the new beginning of Helloween. They disappeared off the face of the earth after a really horrible album that we'll talk more about a little bit later because it's worth noting just a little horrible because of its horribleness.
It's a little horrible.
But
horriblosity.
They left themselves for dead.
They really
after
did.
that album.
They
and
really
then
did.
All of a sudden, this thing comes along, and it's an amazing album. It's an amazing album, and this is the debut of Andy Darris. It's there in the bucket. You can grab that. Show it to them.
Bam!
That hurt. Thank you for that.
There it is, right there. Master of the Rings. All these have been remastered, by the way. Double discs. Pun. You're trying to really
Master.
You're being funny right now.
I am.
They've been remastered of the Rings.
Remastered. Oh, that's great.
Bam.
That's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah. And every one of them has an extra disc of songs, and
Yeah.
for the most part, Helloween's B-sides are
Pretty
almost as good as their album tracks. So you want to track these things down because you get like another half hour, 45 minutes of music.
good music, not just throwaways.
Exactly.
Some of these can replace album tracks and make the album actually better. That might be a show for another day.
Yeah.
Wow, this album came kind of out of nowhere. I didn't expect it, and there it was. It's like this new Helloween's coming out, so of course I had to get it. I had to get. I don't remember if I ordered this one overseas or if I got this one in America. I'm pretty sure I had to order this one in for like $30 as well.
Wow.
But I got this thing, and just as soon as it starts, there it is. There's the old Helloween. It's different, but still absolutely great.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy Darris here is, to me, the first time I listened to him on this album, I kind of got a Dio vibe from him,
A little bit.
which went away over time. It didn't stay, but at first I kind of got a Dio vibe from him, and we all love Dio, and it's such good stuff.
It is.
Such
And
good
it's
stuff.
it's
Great songwriting.
we haven't gone into it yet. So much of what happened in the year or two before this album came out, which
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll discuss
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
in a few minutes, but
It's not good.
this just it's such a welcome return to form. It's a band becoming a metal band again when they really weren't a metal band there
They stopped.
for a little while.
They gave it up.
And this is them just being a power metal band again. The harmony, all the melody was back. The hard riffing was back.
Good songwriting.
Lengthier tracks, I think,
Yeah.
in a couple
Yep.
places. They did lengthier songs, and they started their ballad thing on here.
Yeah, you got a great ballad on this one.
Middle of a Heartbeat, I
Yeah,
believe, is
oh.
on this one.
Fantastic.
If I Knew, I think, is on this one as well. Let me consult the CD for here.
Because they do list all the names of the songs on the back of these things.
Let's just talk about what's really happening here. So sometimes we have to consult the actual back of the CD.
The memory's not what it used to be.
Yeah, in the Middle of a Heartbeat's on here,
Absolutely.
and I think that's it.
That's it. That's the good one.
Yep.
Right there. That's the good ballad.
Okay, I fucked that up.
That's
but
okay.
That's your fault and not mine that I did
That's
that.
not true, but we're gonna move on from there. And
But regardless, it was the beginning,
Talking about the album.
and it's not only a good ballad, but they kind of started doing this thing where they were going into like a lot of acoustic. Like their ballads had a very acoustic base. They weren't
Yes.
big power ballads. They were a lot of acoustic, lighter things. But Helloween was still there. They were
Yeah.
still in the song.
they still had the humor. They didn't lose the humor
Right.
coming out of this. What's on the one song I don't
Oh,
like?
here we go.
The game is on. All right.
That's a wonderful song, and he's wrong on
It's
this.
not a great song. It's not a bad song, but it's not a
Oh,
great
come
song by any
on.
stretch. It's funny. It's funny.
Anybody who ever played a little bit of Nintendo back in the day, Nintendo, the original, kids.
Because all the sounds that are in those games is in this song,
Yes.
and it doesn't belong. To
It's
our
meant to
metal
be
song.
funny, it's a joke, he don't get it.
I'll listen to Heavy Metal Hamsters over that song all day,
Alright.
any day of the week.
I'll give on that one.
All right.
I'll give on that one. This album was again one of the first new Helloween albums that I had because I was a little bit behind the times.
Yep.
I mean I didn't catch up with Helloween until right around this album, until
Right.
94, 95, 96. This was the only new album out by Helloween in stores when I got into Helloween.
For you, it was out.
And I found it because, I mean, their remasters are on whatever label they're on, but they were on Castle at the time.
Yep, absolutely they were.
And I went to a store, I found it, I bought it, that was the end of it. I had no problem finding this album. So, it was a good time, it was easy, and every day in the car on the way to school, me and my friend Nick, who was one of the biggest Helloween fans you would have ever met, me and him drove to school every morning in his beat up 1981 Chevy Love, and we played Helloween every day on the way to school, every day in the parking lot. And this was one of the first new Helloween albums that we got a chance to do that with. Jammed out, all the little pretty girls in their fucking mini skirts, and they're flipping their noses up at us because we're sitting in the car listening to metal bands.
That probably happened.
You didn't do that in the 90s. You didn't listen to metal bands in the mid 90s anyway. You didn't sit in the parking lot and expect to ever have a girlfriend or get laid ever in your life.
No.
If you were listening to Helloween.
Hence why I was not very popular in high school.
In a really uncool pickup truck.
I did not have an uncool pickup truck.
But that was my experience of this album, and it's a phenomenal album. This was Helloween's return. It started the mid to late part of the 90s off on a great path.
Yeah.
Roland Grappow, Uli Kush, the rest of the original band, they nailed it. They got their shit together, and they said, we're a metal band again, and this is what we're going to do, and they did it.
And I didn't expect it. When this thing came out, I did not expect greatness.
Right.
we got greatness.
Yeah. And we'll explain to you why why this is such a big deal. We're going to explain that at the end of this video, why this album is such a big deal. Because there was one album before it with most of the Keepers lineup that failed so miserably that it may as well just break this TV having to cover up. You're going to hate it.
It made a grown man cry.
It did. More than one grown man. Grown mans. And
I hope to God it made them cry too, because they deserve it for that album.
I don't think they've ever played anything from that album ever live after that tour for that album, so that should tell you something.
I'm pretty sure if they can go back in time, they would erase that from history.
They would.
Because we deserve better. We got better eventually, but that stain in Halloween history.
It hurt.
It won't go away.
It hurt. It's like season 9 of the X-Files, basically. It's what that album is.
Actually, season 9 of X-Files is better than this album. Not this album, that album. The one that we didn't talk about yet, that we're going to.
Before me and Bernie get into a fist fight over the X-Files, this was number 4. Master of the Rings on our list of essential Halloween albums. Check it out. Number 3, The Dark Ride from 2000-ish. 2000-ish. Pretty sure it's 2000. This is at number 3 for a reason, at least for me.
Yeah, I'm actually having a little bit of a hard time figuring out how this one got number 3.
Put that down.
I put that, yeah. He's been drinking.
And he helped a little bit.
Helped a little bit. But yeah, this is just like the last couple we did. This is another Andy Darius album, and it's absolutely fantastic. I like one or two of the ones that we've already done a little bit more, but that goes into our rating system a little bit. We don't always 100% agree.
Right.
It's an average kind of thing, and this averaged higher than what came before it, and there you go. That's the way it is.
I like this album because it's miserable.
It is miserable.
It's a very dark. This is not happy Halloween. This is not happy Halloween anymore. This is dark, miserable Halloween. Yeah.
Hence the name.
That.
The Dark Ride it is.
It's a much darker album.
Right.
It's a little less power metal than it is.
It's a little
something else. There's
slower, a little sludgier.
Right. It plods, but not. It's not a bad plod. It's
absolutely not.
It's just heavier. I don't know how else to explain it. It's a much heavier, grittier, darker Halloween. This is not supposed to be funny or happy.
No comedy.
It's supposed to be miserable.
It's a little bit dark, a little bit different direction.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's a welcome different direction for sure. This is the one I said in the earlier episode. It's not to me. The production's not as good. You disagree?
Wrong.
I think maybe it's the muddier sound.
The production's great.
I think it's
No, it's
the
great.
production's a little muddier.
The production's good.
But it could be they're very detuned guitar wise.
Absolutely.
A lot of like very low like drop tuning going on in this album, and it's a little slower for sure, but it's every bit a great album. No doubt about it.
There's not too much to say about this album. I mean, it is what it is.
It's rolling right along with this era of greatness.
But it was the end. It was the end of that era of greatness.
Unfortunately.
Because after this album was released, Roland Grappow and Uli Kush, however you pronounce his name,
Very close enough.
they were fired.
You're mispronouncing everybody's name anyway. So.
They were fired from the band.
Right.
Some accounts will say that the rest of the band didn't like the dark vein that Roland and Uli were taking the band in, and
That's unfortunate.
other things will say that they were dedicating themselves too much to another band, which was Master Plan,
Which we'll get to.
another phenomenal power metal band, but they had started that band during this time.
Right.
And I guess the rest of the band wasn't happy with them spending so much time doing something else. And so they got fired. Done. End of story. Get the fuck out. This is your last tour. And that was the last tour for Roland and Uli, unfortunately.
And it did turn out that Helloween did themselves a disservice
They really did.
by doing what they did with these
They really
two
did.
members of the band. They were like kind of the anchor.
Yeah.
It turns out. That's why pretty much nothing since this made essential albums.
Right.
They're not bad albums. They never had a bad album.
No, they're very good. They're good albums. They're not as cohesive as what this was doing. There's some great songs, and there's some songs that are just fucking terrible. There are songs that are not good in any way whatsoever. And I don't want to say that about Helloween, but
that's the truth.
They released maybe 7 or 8 albums after this to this point,
and every single one of them falls in the mediocre to good.
Yeah, they don't make it.
There's no more great.
Yeah,
They don't do great anymore.
they don't. I mean, they came close a few times. The Keeper's Legacy had some phenomenal songs on it.
Yes.
Straight Outta Hell, which was one of our top 10 if we had done a top 10.
They would have made it.
Straight Outta Hell made it in there because the songs were they were writing again. They were writing some great material, but the songs on the album that weren't good were really not good, and so that's why we consider this is number 3 for a reason, because it was the last album in that era of the replacement Helloween.
Yeah. It was a great era to go through.
Absolutely.
Up to this point. But I think what really happened is there's lasers shooting out of the Pumpkin's eyes here, and I think those lasers hit every album
That's actually
after
happening.
this, and that's why they're not as good.
Maybe, I don't know if you could see the lasers.
I think Roland did this. He made the lasers happen.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, you never took it out.
Son of a
Let's
bitch.
Get real close.
Can you see the lasers?
Zoom in.
There are lasers in there.
It's coming out of his eyes.
Look what he's doing.
It's shaking
Look.
hands.
But, yeah. So, you might not be able to see this. And we apologize for that. We're a bunch of poor drunks who can't afford the top of the line stuff to
Sometimes
see.
Sometimes we pet stuffed squirrels.
Sometimes he does that.
I insisted on this. Squirrel.
And sometimes I drink out of this bottle here. Not for you to see, but I do that, and he does that. But, as we said,
That's why I'm sober.
that was number 3 on our list. It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
You might not agree with us. You might disagree about our entire list, but we'd love to hear in the comments
Yeah, what do you think?
what you think. What is your essential Helloween albums?
It probably depends on where you came into the band assuming you came into the band at any point.
Sure.
What you think is great and what you don't think is great. But this is it. This is the Andy era
It is.
and the Roland era, and it's fantastic. They came back.
And we have 2 more albums to do.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you know what they are. We know what they are. I'm pretty sure you know what they are too. Because it's no secret that what comes next started this whole train rolling.
Right. Right. It rewrote the history of melodic metal.
Absolutely. So there you go. Number 3, Dark Ride 2000. Pick it up. Hardcore. Not power metal so much, but really good fucking metal. You need to own this one.
Absolutely.
Check below. Number 2 on the list. No surprise to any metal fans out there. Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 1. Released in 1987.
Absolutely brilliant album.
What else do you say about it?
I don't know what you say about it. It's almost perfection.
This started everything. This began what power metal really is. I mean, Helloween had existed before that. Running Wild had existed before that.
Yes.
Gravedigger had existed before
Yes.
that. There were a lot of bands that were considered power metal, but nobody ever got this.
This is the first album with Michael Kiske,
Yes.
the greatest power metal singer of all time.
Who was a whopping 18 years
18.
old when this happened, by the way.
How did he even get to play in
Yeah.
places? I guess there was. It wasn't in America, so.
True.
But it's an absolutely amazing album. Every single song on this is nearly perfect.
Yeah, there's no bad song on this album.
This album features the song Helloween,
It does.
which is a 13, 14 minute
Yep.
just insanity.
Yep. The beginning of
power metal.
The beginning of like epic
The
power metal
epic
too, because nobody
song.
did stuff like this. Nobody was doing 13-minute songs like Halloween.
No, and especially not a 13-minute song that was intense from beginning to end.
Yeah,
I mean, you had
absolutely.
your 10 to 13-minute songs to start out, nice and acoustic and blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden kick in at the end.
Yeah.
And but that's not what these guys did, and they begun a trend of epics.
Yeah.
Just absolute epic songs. They were very, very long songs, and they didn't quit from start to finish.
Yeah.
You have your traditional 3 to 4 minute long songs. Every single one of them's catchy. Every single one of them is just laced with vocal harmonies, guitar harmonies. It's almost perfect.
Yeah. The melody
Almost
out the
perfect.
ass. It's if Judas Priest could have figured out how to do this is what it would sound like.
This is.
If Judas Priest could have
exactly that.
figured this out in the late 70s, how to become this, how to add in that crazy constant double bass patterns,
Right.
and how to, because Judas Priest kind of, they're one of the, at least one of the metal bands that had that early twin guitar
Yes.
harmony and whatnot, but it wasn't used in the same way as the
No.
power metal bands were using
No,
it.
they did it. They did it to an entirely different degree.
Yeah.
I think another pretty good comparison is like this is the what might have been the evolution of a band like Iron Maiden.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they could have become if they would have raised their game a little bit. If they became a little bit faster, a little bit heavier.
Mm-hmm.
This is what a band like Iron Maiden could have evolved into.
Right.
This was the next step.
Right.
And they did it.
But
They took it, they ran with it, and they created decades of great music from other bands.
A lot of people consider Iron Maiden as part of this genre, of this
They're really the
mindset.
They are really the beginning.
I agree and I disagree, because they never had these constant double bass, fast, like rapid fire machine gun stuff. They never had
did that. They had the gallops.
They had the
They
gallops.
did the gallops. They had the twin guitar harmonies.
And harmony, vocal harmony, and
harmonies.
melody out the ass.
A classically trained singer who can just blow anybody away.
Mm-hmm.
That's the blueprint. Helloween took that blueprint and they just took it to the next level.
They're the godfathers of
They are the godfathers of power
metal. And wait,
Absolutely.
did I?
Oh wait,
Oh,
it's not there.
we're missing. We're missing.
What is it? Squirrel. Squirrel.
Good fucking job.
It was the squirrel. What's that?
Eat saltines.
Don't eat those. Those are old.
Holy shit!
Is there still crackers in there?
No, there's something better.
Better than crackers? Oh, there
What's
it is.
that?
Yeah.
Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 double disc remastered. You know you want to own this. You know you want to love this all day long in your sweaty, stinky fucking bedroom. You want to have this album.
You should clean your bedroom.
Wait, shh, shh,
Sorry.
shh.
Sorry.
You want to own this album. What? This is where it all started, folks.
It's the best.
This is where it all began. Without this album,
It's almost the best.
almost the best. We do have one more album in our Essential Helloween albums, and we're going to get to it in 3, 2, go. Number 1 on the... Hi, guys. Number 1 on... Number 1. Number 1 on the list. This is no surprise, ladies and gentlemen. Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 2, 1988. This is it. This is the beginning, and it may as well have been the ending as far as I'm concerned.
Pretty much.
This album is perfect. Perfect, absolutely perfect. There's not one song on this album that is less than a perfect song.
There's not a single throwaway song on this entire album.
Not at all.
We've had this discussion a few times.
We have.
Many discussions. One in particular.
Oh.
If you were to be stranded on like a desert island for the rest of your life, and you can only bring X number of albums with you to listen to for the rest of your days, we pretty much both agree that this is the number 1 album that we would take.
Yeah.
It's that good.
It has to be.
That good.
It has to be.
It's the perfect combination of everything: heavy, melodic, power,
Full on epic.
yeah, it's
Full on
the,
epic.
The whole thing. The
You know,
whole thing is just
the lead-off song, Eagle Fly Free, may as well be in any top 5 greatest power metal song list of all time.
it should be the first song on every album ever.
I agree with that.
It absolutely should.
You really, you just, it's...
Every band should put that on as their first track.
This album is in... I don't know what the word I'm looking for is here. In a place. That word.
In a place.
That word. Well, this album should be at the top of any power metal list, period.
It's the power metal album. It's the
It is absolutely.
power metal album.
It is. I mean, as far as, I mean, Keepers 1 defined what power metal became.
Yes.
And
that's what we did.
this album just ran with that and perfected every single detail of what was already great and made it better.
If there was a way to make something good better, that's what they did.
Yeah.
They took something fantastic and made it more fantasticer.
More, what?
I said that with a straight face, nearly.
Anyway,
So, here, let's talk a little bit more about this one. How
Let's
did
do
you
that.
discover this album that clearly changed both of our lives?
I like the album cover. I like the album cover. I was a much younger person than I am now. A little skinnier, a lot more hair. fuck you. Anyway, and I was a big vinyl buyer. Even back then, like back in the day, I was buying vinyl when nobody else was.
Still are.
And I absolutely am. And I was finding out different bands, different styles, different things, because I couldn't sit forever with the bands that I loved up to that point. I wanted stuff that was my own. I wanted to get away from my parents' music and away from what friends told me was cool. I wanted to find my own thing. And I saw this CD in a record store. I liked the cover, as I said. Kind of looked epic. Kind of a little crazy, like Lord of the Rings, like what the fuck is this?
Absolutely, has that vibe.
And oh shit, there's a 13-minute song on here. And I was also a fan of progressive rock, like classic progressive rock at the time, like
Right.
Yes and Genesis and whatnot.
Right.
And they were all about long, epic songs. And I saw that, I'm like, are they trying to do some of that fucking shit? And guess what? No.
Well,
They took that and threw all that out and said, we're gonna teach you what modern epics are all about.
they took that, lit it on fire.
Yeah. And so me and a friend of mine sat down one night and listened to the CD for the first time, and we weren't really paying much attention to it. And then Dr. Steen came on, and we both kind of picked our heads up and went, wait a second, what is that? Start the album over again. And so Eagle Fly Free comes in, and we were sold. For over 20 years now, absolutely sold on everything Helloween did after that. Good or bad, different, indifferent, however you want to look at it. This album started the whole thing for me as a Helloween fan, and I guess for all Helloween fans really, and all power metal fans in general, because this is where it started.
Decades and decades later, no one, except maybe Gamma Ray a little bit,
We'll get to them at some point too, by the
even
way.
came close. And by the way, the founder of Gamma Ray is on this album.
Truth. That's also
But
truth.
nobody has, in all that time, touched, even close to touched, the greatness of this as far as a power metal album goes. This is it. This is the pinnacle. There's nothing better than this album in the power metal genre of music.
Because this encapsulated everything that Helloween was doing at the time, and that all power metal, I think, at some point did. Because you have your long epic songs.
Yep.
You have your what I call your power pop stuff, like I Want Out and
That's
stuff like
definitely
that.
power
like
pop.
Your single.
That's the song
power
you
metal.
probably all know if you're not familiar with the band.
Right.
Really, at all, you all know the song.
Yeah.
I Went Out. That was their big thing.
If you were around during Headbangers Ball, I Went Out was on that show every second for a year solid.
Right.
It was everywhere.
There was a tour, right? There was I think it was Kingdom Come, Anthrax, and Helloween. It was like the Headbangers Ball tour or something like that back then.
Yeah.
They were good enough to be on that thing.
Yeah, and then like they went on and did Donington with Iron Maiden, I think that year. Like they blew up immediately. This is what did it.
They went from a band that was really good that a lot of people heard of to metal kind of stardom.
Yeah. This made them, and it was it's what everything else after this was based on. Like, how does it compare to this album?
Anything that anybody has ever said great about this album absolutely deserves it. It is great.
Yes. Yeah. And if you have the remastered version, the double CD version of it. Let me see where is the double CD version of it?
Oh,
Do we have that?
No, it's in the can.
What do you mean? Well, it's not here. Wait, what? No, I don't even know what that album is. What do you got in there? It's got to be in there.
How convenient.
You did a good job with that thing you just did there. What? Really? That's what this show has become.
It's cold.
So is the CD in there at least?
No.
What the fuck is that? I need to drink a little more for this, don't I? Oh no, I hate you.
It's furry.
Oh, ew, no, why? Ah! Oh, Jesus. Well, that's something. Hi.
Look at me.
Ew, no. What the fucking hell is that even doing in there? It's terrible.
Oh
I don't even like you now.
no. Okay, you know what's not in here? A CD.
He's creepy. Give me a second. Stop looking at it.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Digging in your soul right now.
Here's the creepiest thing you're gonna see.
Wait,
It is in there.
Wait, son of a bitch. You really? I had to look at that fucking thing?
I had to touch it.
Anyway, this is the album we've been talking about. Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 2. Remastered double disc. And let me tell you something about the double disc, which mine is falling apart, as you can see, because I think I played this way too many times. Yeah, that's good. Is I supposed to do that?
No.
Yeah. The bonus tracks on this album are worth buying the album for. Period.
Should be another album.
The album is already phenomenal, but the B-sides in this album are so fucking hardcore. They could be on the album any day of the week, and it would make it a better album. Like literally, it would make it a better album because all the B-sides are as good as the album tracks.
They just hit their stride.
Yeah.
Right there. Like even when they weren't trying, it still turned out great.
Yeah. The songs that weren't good enough to make the album are still good enough to be on any other band's album, and be perfect songs.
It's absolute insanity. Absolute insanity.
So that's pretty much all we have to say about the essential Helloween albums. We're going to go into a few more things in a minute or two, but we're going to end this right now on number 1 with Helloween, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 2.
If there's one album you ever get from these guys, if you take one thing away from what we've done tonight, is to get this one.
Yeah.
Just get this one, and the rest is gravy.
If you want to know what power metal's about, buy this album. This is a stepping stone to everything that comes after it, and we're sorry to tell you, you're going to be a little let down by everything else you ever listened to after you listen to this. But this is where you begin. It's where I began with power metal. I think it's where you began with power metal.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the beginning and the end right here.
That's right. I traded King Diamond Abigail to get the tape of this album.
Oh no,
that was
tape.
That was my. There was no such thing as
tape.
CDs. It's like
You want to explain to them what a tape is?
Picture something that if you I honestly don't know.
Exactly, you can't.
Explain it.
You can't tell them what a tape is.
No, but I know how to fix it.
There's wheelies.
There's wheels, right?
There's wheelies in it,
Right.
and they have a thing around the wheelies that play the music.
2 wheels actually.
2 wheelies.
With like tape, if you could picture like a, I can't think of anything that I could say to remind anybody with what it means. Like
Tapes.
I'll tell you how to fix it. If the tape ever comes out of the tape, you need a pencil.
That'll work.
And you put the pencil in one of the wheels, and you
just lost our entire audience. That's what you did.
I'm sorry.
So before Bernie does this a little bit more, we're going to end the essential number 1, Keep It 7 Keys Part 2 by Helloween.
Get it?
Now we got a little bit more for you. So now we've come down to a different part of the night, where we're going to discuss the honorable mentions and the dishonorable mentions of this band.
So dishonorable. But
And
we're going to start with the honorable mention because this is actually pretty good.
the honorable mentions first, and let me throw this out here again in case I wasn't clear enough the first time. We are not even remotely fucking sober.
Not anymore.
We still like Helloween, but we're drunk. Anyway, so Walls of Jericho, 1985. This is our honorable mention.
This is actually the true beginning.
It is absolutely the true beginning of Helloween and power metal in general. Even though this album is raw, it didn't have
Underproduced.
what the Two Keepers albums had.
Yeah, Michael Kiske.
Right. 'Cause Kai
mention-
Hansen was still singing for the band at the time, and as it's aged pretty well.
Actually, it has.
Because I've gotten used to Kai not being fucking very good every now and then.
And it actually helped that later years, he actually took some vocal lessons,
Yeah.
started his own band, and sang for it.
And
he's
they
actually pretty good.
they became okay.
They became kind of
We'll
okay.
we'll tell you how okay they are in a different video.
Yeah.
But as far as right now goes,
Yeah.
Walls of Jericho, this really is the beginning of power metal as you know it.
There was nothing like it.
No, absolutely
Nothing
not.
existed. Nothing.
There were other bands that were trying to kind of emulate this vibe, but they didn't copy anybody.
No.
I mean they took influences from Maiden and stuff
Oh,
like that. I'm
sure.
But they made it completely their own, and that's why this is an honorable mention. And there are some goofy fucking songs in this album.
Oh, there's some not great.
Because Gorgar
Things.
will eat you.
He will eat you.
Also a great song, if you're wondering. But Ride the Sky is still a classic metal song.
Yeah.
How Many Tears
Oh, great.
is I think still maybe played by Helloween now on the
Oh, yeah, it never
the
left-
Pumpkins
it kind of-
Reunited tour.
It kind of didn't leave the rotation. To go a little bit deeper, they actually did release that song on a live album, sung by Michael Kiske, and much better.
Immediately a better song.
Immediately a better song.
Not
But,
taking anything from Kai,
but
but
Kai's version is great. I mean, they wrote it, he sang it, and it's a highlight on this album. It's as musically as good as anything.
yeah, it is. I mean,
It's a
if
great song.
if that song had been fine-tuned a little bit and put on one of the Keepers
It
albums,
fits right in.
it would have been
Fits right
it
in.
would have been classic power metal all
Yep.
day long. But as far as this album goes, it's still classic power metal. And the album is good enough to make our honorable mention. There were other albums that we thought were really good. Later Helloween albums, I think that Straight Outta Hell was one of the albums that almost made our honorable mentions list because
Yeah,
it was
it was
one
decent.
of the one of
It
the
was
better modern Helloween albums.
Yeah.
But you can't not throw
It's
Walls
certainly-
of Jericho in there.
Yeah, that later Halloween stuff, certainly not essential.
Right.
This is very, very close to essential.
It is. It absolutely
It
is.
didn't score high enough on our rating system to be essential, but it certainly deserves this honorable mention.
Yes.
Because nothing that comes after it exists if this doesn't happen.
Right. Right. So I don't have much else to say about this album.
Yeah, we'll make
I
this
mean,
one a little bit shorter.
It was the beginning of Helloween. They had an EP out before it that was the same style, the same feel.
Yeah, and as far as most people are concerned, you just kind of combine that EP with this and
Yeah.
call
yeah.
it one album.
Yeah. Oh, I think I have proof of that right here.
Do you?
Bagow!
Bagow, that's a word
Look
to
at that. That is
Oh, show him that guy.
Walls of Jericho.
Show that guy.
And there's that horn tootin' guy.
It's a horn toting guy.
There's that horn tooter.
It's horrible. It should never have been on. It shouldn't have been drawn.
No, it shouldn't
Whatever
have.
that is.
I don't. It's a thing.
It's-
It's a thing that happened. Go look it up. You'll
Remember
laugh at
the
it.
guy with the egg on his face?
Yeah. This is
It's kind of.
this is like the predecessor
Yeah,
to
they
that.
just keep rolling with
Yeah.
that.
But it's
Worth it.
you're not gonna go wrong with this album either.
No, don't expect greatness.
It's not
Quality-wise,
Keepers 1 or 2. It's
no.
not it's not as good as anything we put in this list. That's why it's our honorable mention, because it's lacking enough to not make it, but it's still so good and so essential to the Helloween catalog.
To the overall
Yes.
catalog, to the overall genre.
Yeah.
Like power metal.
That-
it's essential.
Yeah. It has to be
But,
here.
But if you're looking for your best of Helloween albums, it doesn't quite make the cut.
Right. And so that is Walls of Jericho 1985. That was our honorable mention. Next, we're going to have our dishonorable mention.
Oh boy.
That's going to be a thing.
Oh boy.
That's going to be a thing that you maybe you don't want to be part of this. But you do. But you do. You stayed this long. Give us another 5 minutes.
Everyone likes to watch a good train wreck.
Truth.
And here it comes.
Okay. We've hinted at this album's existence for the entire show. We've made jokes about it. We've had a few laughs about it. This is a real fucking album.
It happened.
We did not make this up.
It's time to tell you about something that is just something really bad happened. And oh, God.
So we've already discussed how Helloween lost their label and disappeared for a few years. They did Pink Bubbles Go Ape, which made our list.
And it's pretty good.
This was the follow-up album to Pink Bubbles Go Ape, 1993, Chameleon.
It's especially painful.
I don't even know what to say about
For
it.
a good handful of reasons, it's especially painful.
I don't even know what to say about it.
Especially to us who were around when it came out, and it's just oh God.
He won't say
first.
it. I will say it.
Go ahead.
It's fucking terrible. All right. I tried to love this album. This is another one of those $30 import CDs that I just had to have because it was still the Pink Bubbles lineup. It was still most of the Keepers lineup except for Roland. This was what I wanted to hear another Pink Bubbles. I'd have been perfectly okay with that. And this thing came out, and the first song sounds like a fucking porn soundtrack.
Sort of.
The second song sounds like just an asshole. Like the whole thing. It's
really, really hard to listen to, especially compared to what came before it.
I wish I could have your restraint. I wish I could pull myself in and be nice about the album. But it's literally everything.
This is my not nice.
Everything from this multicolored clusterfuck album cover.
Look at it. Look at it.
To every song on the album. And you know what? I'm wrong. There are a couple songs in this album that are actually really good songs.
They're decent.
They're not
decent
good
songs.
Helloween songs.
No, they're listenable.
They went in such a far off direction from what they were known for that the album didn't make sense to anybody.
I still haven't figured it out.
Windmill. Windmill is on this album.
Say the word windmill, I feel like throwing up.
I gagged a little bit in my mouth hole.
I think I gagged
A little bit. Let me wait. Oh shit.
It's in there.
Look at the pumpkin is not empty. There is one more album in here, and it's this befuckery.
Look at it.
In front of you. Befuckery? Is that a word?
It is now.
It's pretty good. And look at, hey, listen. If you really think you need this album, because you're a metalhead and you're like, I want to try something different. Number one, fucking don't. Not with this. Number two, if for some reason you get in your head that you need to hear this album, buy the 2-disc version. Because the second disc is like 50 fucking minutes of B-sides that you also never wanted to fucking hear. This is what, do you hear me cursing and not giving a shit right now? This album pulls out, it pulls the hate out of my soul and makes me never want to listen to it ever again. This, right back into Pumpkin. That's what I did.
I think everyone who got this album.
No, it's still in there.
It
It didn't disappear. I wish it did, but it's still in there.
No, you're right. It is still
Looking right at you.
I don't understand how everyone who bought this album, even if for a normal price. Like overseas, I paid $30-something for it.
I did too.
But how do you not die inside a little bit when you listen to this album? Just a part of your soul just fades into nothingness.
It does.
It just rips you apart.
It does.
And you want to like it because of the name on the front of it, but just look at it. We showed you 7 albums tonight, right?
Yes.
8 if you count Jericho.
Yes.
Did you see all the album covers? Did you see them? They're like amazing. They're epic, mean, nasty metal covers. Do you see that thing?
Just like that.
Some kid dipped their fingers in paint and just went, and they said, "That'll do."
Yeah.
That'll do. That's metal. That's metal.
Yep.
There's nothing more metal than finger painting.
Taste the rainbow. Taste the rainbow. Are we gonna get sued for that?
I don't know.
Whatever. This.
You didn't say the S word.
What's the S word? Suck the rainbow?
No,
What?
I can't say it.
Shit the rainbow?
No, SKIT. Where did it say?
Oh, we can't say that though.
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying. You know what we're talking about.
Helloween. Taste this fucking garbage. There. That's. I'm going with that.
Marshawn Lynch would not eat this album. Beast Mode wouldn't touch this album with a 30 million foot pole.
That's true.
And I don't want to either.
So, I mean, I think we said enough about Chameleon. This is easily the worst Helloween album in any list.
It's a low point in any band's career.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Queensryche.
Oh.
There's worse.
We're gonna
get to it.
We're gonna hit you with some Queensryche later on in this.
We will get to the worst thing in metal history.
Possibly.
Eventually. This is 2. This is the number 2 worst album in metal history.
I think you're right. But for tonight,
this is the worst you're gonna
this
get.
is all we got. We're ending on Chameleon. We're letting you know never to buy it.
No.
Buy all the other ones. If you want this, there's still a link below. I'm gonna do that for you guys if you really want to get curious and try things out.
Yeah, if you're into like self-torture.
But for tonight, this is our first episode, Helloween. We hope you enjoyed it. I had fun. I had a good time.
Thank you for watching. Comments, please.
I hope you were drinking with us because we did a damn good job tonight. And Squirrel and these guys came along for the ride.
What is that?
And that's all we got. So thanks a lot. Tune in next time.
Have a cracker.